Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Who Cares? I am your host, Taylor Wallace, and I am super grateful to not be sick today because last week I had COVID, and I almost forgot that was a thing. Strange to think now, 5 years later, after the world stood still, but yeah. I got popped and I had to shut it down, and I am so bad at being sick. There's nothing I hate more than just laying in bed and doing nothing. I'm a super social person. I love to be out and active and going to yoga and hanging out with friends, and to isolate, man, it just was not fun, and I did not want to do any of it. And I'm so grateful to be done with that and be out in the world. We had to reschedule this next guest, and it was my first time rescheduling. I hate canceling, but sometimes things happen. But I'm really, really excited to share this next guest with you. Her name is Jen Russell. She's been a friend of mine for a really, really long time. She is a health and life coach, which we talk about in depth during this episode. What it is, why it's useful. We talk about how it's kind of become a buzzword, and just about everybody's calling themselves some kind of life coach now, and how to kind of weed through the noise and focus on the good parts of it and why it could be useful to you. We talk about manifesting, but not in the way that you think. We talk about our love of the ocean. We talk about starting over. It was a really, really good conversation. I was really grateful to have her here in the studio, and I think that you'll get a lot out of it. So we're going to jump right into it. Here is our episode and conversation with Jen Russell. Hope you enjoy. Jen Russell.
Taylor Wallace.
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm so excited.
Oh, man. This has been in the works for a little while. I hope I make
you proud.
You won't.
All right.
But, that's
it's going to be a long hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. Now that we've set the bar pretty low.
Thank you. Actually, that helps.
A sigh of relief.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. How's your week?
Yeah. It's been great. Yeah. It's been really busy.
Super busy?
Filled with good things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of good things?
Working with some new clients, new coaching clients. I made a promise to myself in this new chapter that I'm in that I would only do jobs that bring me joy, that I like. And I was like, am I going to be able to stick to that? And so far, so good. And I actually, acting is in my background, and I was able to get an acting job through a friend of mine helping medical students at the University of Texas practice diagnosing. It's part of their standardized patient program. And so I'm now, I think, going to be on the rotation to help medical students diagnose. I hope I'm not jumping the gun and saying that I got a job that I didn't, but I feel like I got the job.
It sounds like you got the job.
I think I got the job.
I didn't even know jobs like that existed.
I didn't either. And it actually, in the conversation that we had, they were like, your background as an educator, your background as somebody who knows how to coach and give feedback is actually perfect. And then marry that with acting. I was like, I think this was made for me.
That is made for you.
As a side hustle. But actually, I don't even consider it a side hustle. I just consider it like, I'm going to do this thing that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what it's about these days.
I love that you mentioned joy. I last year, I got sent a thing of like, what are you focusing on this year? And in January, I wrote a thing out that like this year, one of the things that I wanted to focus on the most was joy, like where I find joy and like leaning into that and kind of getting out of the habit of, I don't know, for me, I feel like I'm constantly in this state of, I got to be better. I got to be better. I got to be better. I got to be better at working out. I got to be better at work. I got to be better at being a friend. And so like, I'm always like grinding myself down to try to be more.
Right. And I mean, I will say, I don't think you're definitely not alone.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of the culture that we're living in these days really supports that. Like all the, as much good that can come from social media and influencers, I think there's this tendency we now have this whole optimization, and where people start to feel like the goal is perfectionism.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not
the optimization of every aspect of our life.
That's not it. So where do you find
There's
joy?
that, I don't know if you've seen the guy, he's on a podcast, but a lot of people have made parodies of him, but he's like, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. My first day starts at 5 a.m. and I've already done 27 things. My second day starts at noon. Then I do X, Y, and Z. And then at 3 o'clock, that's when my third day starts. But I've got 3 days. I'm beating you
that
left,
sounds
right,
terrible.
and center. It's just like, well, first of all, that's still one day.
Your math is not mathing.
Yeah, you're just doing a lot of stuff in one day. But he's like, no, I've got 14 days in a week.
Yeah, and probably on your way to some kind of cardiovascular situation.
No, like trying to let go of all of that stuff is it's
just not helpful,
because we are being beat over the head with it. It feels like,
yeah.
But bringing it back to joy, like I got to find those things. I got to find those moments and really like point my compass in those directions as much as possible. Mm-hmm. There's obviously something to the trying to strive to be better and try to do more. I want to be that person, but I don't want it to be all that I think about.
Yeah. And I think it has to be with care and intentionality, that it can't just be blanket, do more, be more.
Yeah.
I think it has to be really focused on do more, be more for the things that are actually meaningful to you. And I think that's where we get into trouble, is feeling like it has to be for everything. I'm like, that's just not possible.
No.
That's not possible. What brings you joy these days?
Honestly, it's joy's been a little hard to find lately. It's been a really hard year, but some of the things that I got a lot of joy from, I'm not allowed to do right now, like hockey was taken away from me. My social group is one of the places where I derived a lot of joy, and that's changed really drastically in the last few months. So right now I'm finding joy in stillness, and I'm finding joy. I've been going to yoga a lot more. Like, I've always been really into fitness, as you know. You were one of my first personal training clients.
I remember that.
Yeah. And, I always lift heavy, and I'm always like pushing myself in the gym, and on that same line of like, got to do more, got to be more, got a stronger, and so in January, I decided that I'm going to spend a good amount of time trying to soften, and trying to, stop trying to harden myself, which is what it felt like I was doing in the gym, was trying to chisel myself out of stone, and so, I've been doing yoga regularly and meditating a lot more and finding the joy and the stillness in that, and just trying to find a little bit more joy in not needing to constantly be with another person, which is a struggle for me. I wish it wasn't. It's hard for me to admit that it is, but it's still a struggle. And I find so much joy in community, and that's my main go-to. But trying to find the joy and the stillness and the solitude right now. What about you?
I think nature is where I find a lot of joy. And I mean, right now I live in an apartment, but I have a bird feeder on my balcony, and I get a lot of joy watching all my bird friends come and visit every day. I've become one of those people.
Yeah, you're reaching that age.
I have the Shazam bird app, where you can
God, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing where you can hold it up if you're outside and you hear a bird and you're like, I've never heard that before. You can press record and it Shazams it. And now by saying Shazam, I'm probably also dating myself because does that even exist anymore?
I think it does actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
And it identifies all the birds in your area that it can hear.
That's a red-birded breasted whistler.
Yeah. Tufted titmouse.
I think AI is going to start like translating, and you're going to be able to listen to their conversations.
Oh, I mean, I actually would
Which
like
could
that.
be really messed up because birds are a little aggressive.
I hate you.
Yeah.
That's what they're all saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nature, both just in the moment, in the daily moment, and also bigger nature moments like hiking and scuba diving. That's one of the passions that we share.
Yeah.
I think that just gives me a lot of peace and perspective in when I feel like the world is a very chaotic, fast-moving, nonsensical place.
Yeah.
And being in community with friends. I think my work now gives me joy and movement.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an injury recently. It's frustrating. It's, I think we're in seasons where, especially if you're active, where you just have to recognize that that's going to happen. If you're an active person, you're going to experience injury. And as you age, those injuries might become more frequent. So I've had to take a little time off from my regular workout routine. I work outside. I work out with a group called Raw Power Fitness in Austin, and it's an outdoor community workout. And so I get to be outdoors in nature, and I get to be with people in my neighborhood. And that brings me a lot of joy, but I've had to dial it back a bit the past month because I've been dealing with a lower back injury.
I know all about that.
Wah, wah.
It's really frustrating. I mean, I've had so many injuries that I've had to, have derailed my fitness journey at the time. And, I've had enough of them that I'm like, okay, this is just a part of, it doesn't stop me from having, being fit and being active. It just changes it,
Right.
And you can adapt around things, and maybe you need to slow down and you do it a little bit less, or you don't get to do some of your favorite exercises, but there's, it's just part of that path. And
it's not gone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference for me now, whereas in my 20s or 30s, because I think being active wasn't a part of my identity, if something would derail me, who knew when I was going to pick it back up again?
Yeah.
It was like, that was fun. I'm not doing that anymore. But now I just recognize it as, okay, we got a little bit of a break, a little bit of a seasonal change here, and then you pick it back up in a way that feels good.
Yeah, I do want to talk about scuba diving if we have time, because that is one of the things that we love and that we've gotten to do together.
I know. I love it so much.
Which is like one of my favorite experiences. Like,
we've gotten to do it together a lot, which is really fun.
No, it's been really good. So I want to get into you. Not like that. So you are a health and a life coach.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of people, those terms can be a little bit vague. And I think there's a lot of that being kind of promoted on the internet. I think a lot of people are heading in that direction for the right reasons. But I just wanted to see if you could take a second to kind of explain to our listeners, what is a health and life coach and why is it beneficial?
Yes. Thank you for asking. And thank you for acknowledging that it's a field that attracts a lot of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
Some of those people have training and are amazing. Some of those people are doing it for reasons that may be kind of self-serving, like I want to work remotely, and don't necessarily have the training. And I think as the field grows and becomes more and more regulated and I think it's already growing where people are seeing that, this is a really great companion to therapy. And it can be a very important part of somebody's overall sort of life wellness journey. But what coaching is actually, and what I do, and this might sound a little woo-woo, but I'm kind of a little bit woo-woo, is a good coach really helps facilitate transformation. Because what everybody comes to the coaching relationship with is a problem. And that problem could be related to their health. or to their profession or to their relationships. But basically they're saying there's an experience I want to be having and I'm not having it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get there on my own. And what they're really wanting is, at the end of the day, what they're really wanting is transformation. They want to be different without having to think about being different. And so what I do is help facilitate that process of getting them to the point where they've now embodied these new habits, these new beliefs, these new practices, so that they can look back and go, oh, wow, I'm actually different. Like, these things are not just what I do, they're a part of who I am. So what people are really seeking is an identity shift related to whatever it is they're working on, whether it's wanting to be somebody that exercises regularly, wanting to be somebody that makes nourishing, healthy food choices most of the time, wanting to be somebody that has better work-life balance. And it's a really cool process. Like I say I facilitate transformation, and I can take credit for the facilitation part, but I definitely can't take credit for the transformation part. Like, that's all on the clients. And it's really cool to see people kind of come into their own power and recognize, like, oh, I had this in me. I've had this in me. I needed somebody to, turn the key just a little bit and unlock
open the door for them.
Yeah.
And also just help hold their hand as they build those new habits.
Yeah, and hold the vision, because that's inevitably along the way in this process, as people are trying on new behaviors, trying on new ways of being. Without a doubt, self-sabotage happens. Like, there's never going to be anybody that's trying to step into a new identity and doesn't experience self-sabotage, because as much as the brain is wired for change and growth, it's also wired to keep us safe. And so somewhere along the way, it's going to say, I'm sorry, what are we doing here? I'm not somebody who This isn't who we are.
This is not what we do.
Clutching their pearls. If a brain could wear pearls, like, I'm sorry, who are we and what are we doing? And so it's my job to slow everything down and say, let's take a look at this. Let's unpack this belief and let's see if do you actually believe it? And if you don't believe this, what would somebody need to believe in order to keep moving forward towards that outcome and that experience that you want? Yeah. So it's a process of upgrading habits and beliefs that eventually lead to this transformative shift in identity. And sometimes it feels really, from the outside, it can look really big to an outsider. And sometimes it can look maybe unnoticeable, but to the person experiencing it, it's very, very profound.
Yeah. I mean, I think just about everybody can relate to what you were talking about of, like, I don't want to be this anymore, or I want to be more like that. I want to show up differently in the world. I've kind of gotten trapped in this life of my own design. Yeah. That feels comfortable, and I'm kind of in this feedback loop and I can't get out of it. I mean, for me, I'm somebody who's been in recovery for a really long time, and I have a great support system of people that help me with that, exactly what you're talking about and the people that don't have issues with substance abuse disorder and don't have a support system that they're checking in with every day for whatever it is, whether trying to be better at work or check in with fitness or, any number of things, that having somebody hold them accountable and also hold space for them and remind them that they're not alone on the journey and that everything that they're trying to do is possible is super valuable.
It is. And I think we're very individualistic. As much as we talk about, as much of help that is available for people, whether it's therapy, counseling, community-based help, coaching, we're a very individualistic nation. And there's something that is, I think there's this idea that we're supposed to be able to do it all alone. And we're not. Like, as humans, we are wired for connection. We're wired to be in partnership with people to be supported and to support them. And so I feel like it's just kind of a natural extension of what we're already supposed to be doing as humans. We're supposed to be helping each other. Yeah. Sometimes that help is paid. Sometimes it's unpaid.
Yeah. It is so difficult to ask for help, you know, even as someone who has asked for a lot of help, and almost all of the good things that are in my life today are because I admitted that I couldn't do it alone.
Same.
I am always, just like we were talking about earlier, taking this enormous responsibility on my shoulders and not allowing anyone in to look at it, to help me with it, to, give me their feedback on whether or not it's even healthy, what I'm doing, or
we
whatever.
Gotta figure it out.
So like what you said about our community being really individualistic. Yeah, I'm like, this is all on me. This is my problem to solve. It's my burden to bear. And
what if that's a story?
What's that?
What if that's a story? Maybe that's a story, though.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely is. And I can see a lot of benefit for what you provide to clients.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm straight up with people. I let people know because I want to model being somebody who has asked for help and continues to avail themselves of help. I'm not guru on the mountaintop. I'm somebody that is another human bumbling through. And, I have a team of people that help me stay grounded and centered. And some of those people I pay, some of those people are a part of my community, but we need each other.
Yeah. We definitely need each other. So what kind of shifts have you seen in somebody that finally does get the kind of support that you offer?
Say that again. What kind of shifts have I seen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give an example of a client that I've been working with for about a year and a half. And she came to me specifically, initially, she came to me with the goal of losing weight and sort of incorporating more regular exercise into her life. And so that was our starting place. That was where that was sort of the first plateau that we were hoping to reach. And I work in a 12-week coaching cycle because I find that that's a season is not so overwhelming to our brain, like doesn't send us into fight or flight. If you're like, okay, let's work for 3 months on this rather than we're going to work for a whole year. But I've been working with this person for a year and a half. And so we initially started working on that piece of like how to tune into your body wisdom and really respond to the cues of your body, because I think it's very easy to get disconnected in our society from what our body actually needs and what it's asking for and what kind of movement feels good. And so that was the starting place. And so by the end of the first cycle, she experienced weight loss. She also experienced a growth in her confidence and in her energy. And that became the springboard for the next coaching cycle. It's like you reach this one level and you're like, oh, look what's going on here. Now what? And so then we started working on self-advocacy and setting boundaries. So it's like every new baseline that you reach becomes a new opportunity to see things that maybe you couldn't see from the point where you were at before, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that.
And then I would say our third coaching cycle, she said, there's something that I've been wanting to look at that I haven't been able to look at until now. Like it's almost like I needed more confidence and time. And that was drinking. And I was like, interesting. She said, it felt too big and too scary. She said, I knew it the day that I started working with you, that this was something in the back of my mind that I needed to address, but I just wasn't ready to. It felt the easier, softer thing to address felt like health and fitness, which was a very important thing. And it's not like everything kind of happened in the order it should have happened in. But I think what is really exciting for me is just that the shift that each person experiences with each cycle is that each new plateau means a new baseline, which means the capacity to envision more things for yourself. It's like this expansiveness opens up that wasn't there before. And you start to see, well, what's possible now? You know, if this is possible, now what's possible? So there's just a lot of hope in it too.
Yeah. And I resonate with that so much. I mean, not to keep talking about my sobriety journey, but
I think it's relevant.
At the beginning, all I could focus on was I needed to stop drinking. I needed to find a way to stop drinking. Right. And once I was able to, for a year or so, do that successfully and not drink, then I had the room and the capacity to see where else am I falling short? Where else do I want to go from here? That now that this thing is out of the way, that was really weighing me down, I do have the time and the capacity and the spiritual wherewithal to take on another challenge, to grow and to open. And it is just like a layer of the onion, so to speak.
Right.
As you pull back one layer, you find another and you find another, and you can experience this continued growth.
And the space to dream. I think a lot of people come in having sort of lost the capacity to dream. Like they don't have a very expansive view of what's possible for themselves. And I think through, and not just through coaching, I don't want to say we've cornered the market on that, but through any kind of work where you're sort of reflecting and doing self-examination and taking action, I think that you get to dream and think about what's possible in a way that maybe you've not allowed yourself to do.
Yeah. That's great.
I love it.
Yeah, I can tell that you love it. And it looks good on you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. The way that you love it, and don't mind if
Thanks.
I take that compliment in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be really beneficial, and it is one of the things that I think we can't not see right now is someone being a life coach or someone being a health and a life coach, and a lot of confusion is probably out there around what that is and what that can mean.
It's funny because I told my mom lives in an independent living community, and she likes to say, well, a lot of people don't know what that is. I'm like, I know, Mama, I know. It's not something that your generation, she's like, when I tell people what you do, they don't necessarily know. I'm like, yeah, I get it. They don't necessarily know what that is. I was on vacation at the Frio River I guess it was last week, and we were at the pool, and somebody asked me what I did, and I said, I'm a health and life coach, and she had a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other, and she goes, what is that?
What does that mean?
And then her friend goes, well, you need that. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go swim at this end. But yeah, I think it's becoming more of a known field, and I hope that it will continue to do so, because I think it can really help people. I think therapy and coaching are similar in that they're both therapeutic relationships, which I think we all need therapeutic relationships. But I think in the analysis piece of therapy and unpacking the past traumas, like those are all very important. I'm so glad that I've done that and continue to have a therapist. But I think people appreciate coaching because it's present and future forward and action forward. And I think that can be really empowering.
No, I mean, there's almost every great CEO and business owner pays for a coach of some sort.
Yeah, that's true.
It is very, very common with people that are very successful, and especially the people that have the means that they don't even have to think about it. I think anybody that is in a financial situation where they don't even have to question, can I afford to meet with this person once a week, would get a health and a life coach or a business coach or a personal trainer and a therapist, and a masseuse. We want all the things, right? Some of us can't afford them all. So there is this sometimes we have to pick and choose what we can afford to invest in.
Like what kind of support is going to be the most meaningful?
Yeah.
Because we can sort of self-help ourselves to death, and where that's all we're doing and we're not really living. But I think it's about picking and choosing very intentionally what kind of support is going to be the most beneficial
for the phase that you're in.
Yeah, for whatever
now.
season you're in. And I think, who doesn't? Everybody needs a thinking partner.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah, somebody that you can use as a springboard and a sounding board. It's it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because, I consider myself very tuned into a lot of these things, and I still was, a little ignorant on what it is and what the benefits of it are. And one of my hopes of this podcast is that people can find things that they need at a time that they need it, and I can help showcase people that are doing good work in the world. And so I think it's important to shine a light on this industry and what you as an individual life coach offer. So I'm really glad that you're agreeing to talk to me about it.
Me too. Thank you for highlighting it.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about one of my favorite topics to talk about, which is reinvention, starting something new that's really scary, and kind of like investing in yourself, taking a chance on yourself. So you spent 20 years as a teacher.
Yes,
and
of both children and adults.
Of both children and adults. And then you decided to take the huge leap to leave it all behind and start your own business. And I want to talk about what that process looked like for you and how scary it was and how you overcame doubt and fear. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So it was super scary, but I think whenever anybody reaches sort of that crossroads point, there's the feeling of, okay, I'm super scared, but also I'm really scared that if I don't do this, I'm really not going to enjoy the rest of my life. And so, I'd been working in underserved schools. I got my master's in special education through the New York City Teaching Fellows. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started my career. I was a late career changer in terms of coming to education. Prior to that, I was an actress in New York City and a very good waitress, if I do say so myself. And so I'd already had the experience of recognizing that, oh shit, this acting dream I don't think is going to manifest in the way that I thought it was, and I don't think I can continue to live and do the things that I need to do to continue pursuing this dream. And I really think that teaching is going to be the direction I'm going to go. So I'd already had kind of that experience of recognizing that you can do different things in your life. Like as humans, we are allowed to have different chapters. So I had that reference. I didn't anticipate ever giving up education. I worked in early childhood special ed for a number of years, and I really felt like that was my calling, and then became a specialist at kind of the district and state level, where I was helping teach teachers in Central Texas in 60 different school districts. So it was a big job, and I got to experience really feeling like an expert in my field. And I did reach a point where I felt like, I think I've done everything I want to do in this. Like I've kind of gone as far as I feel like I need to take this. And I have to say that the change, it was a long process, as you know, because I was talking about it for a long time. I was just talking about how unhappy I was. Yeah. So I think there was the first recognition of, this doesn't seem to be working for me, and I'm baffled as to why, and I don't know what to do about it. Like from 2019 to 2023, those were kind of hard years. As you know, my partner, Scott, passed away unexpectedly. And then 4 months later, COVID hit. And so it was good times.
Super
fun. And the grief and the kind of having the rug pulled out from under you in a number of different ways, kind of collectively as a society and just on a personal level, it changed me. And going back and doing the same kind of work that I was doing with teachers and children after COVID, I recognized that I was starting to change. And it wasn't necessarily that my passion for helping children was changing, but I kind of simultaneously noticed how much I was enjoying coaching the teachers. But also I wanted to talk to the person underneath the teacher. Like when they would be like, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I want to be, hold up, why didn't you get enough sleep?
Yeah.
Or like, why is your lunch from the vending machine? Like, let's talk about that.
Really caring about the individual.
And so it kind of organically started to happen where I was like, these are the kinds of conversations that I think I want to be having. And I also recognize that I'm now in my 50s and I think I want a different pace of life. And I really have to give credit to visiting you in Cozumel and taking up diving, as that trip kind of cracked things wide open for me.
I didn't realize that.
I don't think I really realized it either until I looked back, where it wasn't until I stepped out of my little world and saw people living differently, from you to people at the dive school, people that were like, we're not going to do things the way everybody else is doing them. We're claiming this life. And also diving and just the wonder, that whole world opening up, like there was this expansiveness that I think gave me permission to kind of dream about, well, what do I want my life to look like? And do I want to finish out my work life in a 40-hour-a-week cubicle, or going into schools where I feel like I'm not having as much of an impact as I would like? And the answer was no, I don't want to do that. And that's what led me to start investigating coaching, because I'd already been coaching for 7 years in the education space. And I found a program through Health Coach Institute, which offered a dual health and life coaching certificate. Yeah. And I liked it because it was the only program that I could find that offered both certificates. And I thought, well, that makes sense because they're interconnected. Like your health and your life are interconnected. And so it was a long process. It took me like 1.5 years to leave my job, to start going to school in the evenings and start with my practice clients and meet all the requirements, to actually finally having my last day be August of last year and just dive in.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have a little bit of a nest egg, so I could dive in at a pace that wasn't going to lead to burnout, which is what I was kind of dealing with before. And it's been crazy. I mean, I know, like anytime you're doing something new, there's going to be days where you feel like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Does anybody care about this? Am I contributing anything? And then other days where you really recognize like, oh yeah, I'm in this. This is good. This feels exactly right. Yeah. Like this is totally what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I just kind of, I just hold both those things. I'm like, you know what? This is just all part of the process.
Yeah. I want to go back to that, discovering that you don't have to live this way. Like I think so many people get caught in the day-to-day of their lives and surround themselves with similar people that are in the same day-to-day of their lives. And it just feels like this is the only life to live.
Yeah.
I don't get any
we
other
have no choice. Yeah.
Maybe I see people on social media, or I've heard of a friend who is living on a beach somewhere and barely, has a side gig on their laptop, but all of that feels so unachievable and unreal.
Right.
And there is this power of when you find people walking the different path.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, it doesn't have to be the extreme of like selling all your things and moving, that's a bold, big move. But I think
I like that extreme. That's what I always do.
I mean, I like that too, because I've done that a couple of times. Yeah. Moving to New York, I moved to London for a little while. like that, there's kind of a thrill, but I recognize we're that type of person. Not everybody is like that, but
I'm becoming less that type of person, because as I get older, the harder it's harder and harder to take those big swings.
Well, it's kind of exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
I'm tired.
And
I
it
need
can
a
be
nap.
isolating, and
Am I going to get to have a snack and a nap?
But it is. It's funny that you mentioned that, because when I went to, I hadn't taken, this was 2019, I hadn't taken a vacation in like 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been working 70, 80 hours a week nonstop, doing a job that I loved, tour managing, working in the entertainment industry, working at Red Rocks in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I was always just like, I'll do that someday. I'll do that someday. I'll do that someday. And I took this trip to Thailand to get scuba certified and to spend a month by myself, just having a vacation, a real vacation. Mm-hmm. And I met so many people, just like what you were talking about, that I was just like, there's this whole other world. People don't have to do the thing that I thought you had to do in order to be happy. And
I think it showed me that there's so many different ways to live, and it's really about aligning with what feels right for you and giving yourself permission to think about what that could look like. And maybe it looks like selling all your things and moving to a foreign country, but maybe it looks like downsizing your home that's bringing you down financially, and, getting a job where you don't have to work so much. Like there's just, it's that piece of this can look a lot of different ways, and recognizing that it's different for everybody.
Yeah, totally. So you get inspired by me. I'll take 100% credit. And
sure,
you start.
Sure, that's
the story we're going with.
Okay, it's your podcast.
And for those that don't know, I was living in Mexico for a while. I had sold all of my things and was living down there so that I could work remote and scuba dive every weekend, because I'm a big lover of the ocean. I'm very passionate about scuba. And we kind of were prodding at Jen to come visit us and to join the underwater life.
Yeah. And
she did. We prodded a lot of our friends, and I will commend Jen, because she was really the only one that was like, okay, I'll do it. I want to do it.
It had been on my radar for a while for a number of different reasons, and I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah, same. I mean, for me, the scuba, I've told this story before, but not on this podcast, but when I was a small kid, I was obsessed with swimming, and I always never wanted to come up from the water. Mm-hmm. So I would, try to stay down as long as possible. Sometimes I would get garden hoses and try to breathe through the garden hose so I could just stay underwater.
That's super safe.
I used to make my mom take me to a scuba shop down the street once a week so I could just look at all the gear.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And I was just like, when I'm older, and I remember they had this small little rescue tank, like a mini tank.
Yeah.
And I was waiting to mow lawn so that I could buy that so that I could just sit at the bottom of the pool.
Wow.
Because it had a 5-minute time limit or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it's all I wanted. I just remember being as soon as I'm old enough, I'm getting scuba certified and I'm doing this thing. And I never did it. It was just always this thing in the back of my head that I want to do that. I want to do that. And so here I am. At the time, I think I was 37 or something like that. And I was like, when am I going to do it? You know, I need to go do it. And so that trip was that me, finally making due on the promise to that 8-year-old kid that we're going to go do this thing.
That's so cool. I had no idea that was a dream from so long ago, a little kid dream.
Yeah. It was one of my first dreams as a kid.
Wow.
It was all I could think about when I was younger. And my mom took me to SeaWorld all the time, and I wanted to work and be one of the trainers at Shamu. And I know that now is not a great thing, but at the time I was that I'm going to be a scuba diver and I'm going to work with
you wanted to hang with wildlife.
Yeah.
Not where they're being exploited.
Yeah.
In their natural habitat.
I do not condone SeaWorld.
No, we don't.
But yeah, it was a big thing for me. And so getting to finally do that and make good on that promise to myself was life-changing.
Yeah. What did it bring after that experience? What did it bring about? Do you remember?
I remember, first and foremost, I remember when I came back in 2019, I said, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to work as hard as I can for a year. Then I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go back and I'm going to become a scuba instructor. And that was my plan. And then COVID hit and that changed everything. And so my move to Mexico was really an extension of that because what I wanted to do was I wanted to move to Thailand, but I had a job and I could work remote in the same time zone. And so Mexico, Cozumel was like the closest place with great diving that I could still work and not give up my job. But we did have to get rid of our house and all of our furniture and all of that stuff. And it was a big leap to just go be closer to this thing that I was called to do.
But I love how one thing, like you sort of give yourself permission to explore one dream and the ripple effect that it can have into all other areas of your life that you don't even know yet.
Yeah.
You know, like, would you have quit your job, or would you have gotten, like, these dominoes started falling that you never would have seen had you not gone to Thailand and gotten scuba certified? Like, that kind of opened up.
No, and life is so interesting in that way when we just never know what the future holds.
We don't.
Like, one action, like you said, can change everything.
Yeah.
And meeting one person can just change and open our lives in a way that we never could have expected. And so I have to keep that in mind. You know, I've been going through a really rough time. This has been a really hard year for me. And I have to remember that, like, the future's so wide open, you know?
Yeah, it always is. We don't know what's going to happen.
We have no idea what's going to happen. And my experience shows, if I look back on my life, I've had many really hard moments or years, and the magic that came after them, I never could have predicted.
Right.
And so I have to believe there's more magic
100%.
coming, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that there is if I continue to show up and just do the things that I know are the right things to do and surround myself with good people and make good choices. Like, there's so much magic to happen. There's so many more little moments to have that are going to bust open the doors to the next thing that I didn't know. I was waiting for the door to open, you know?
For sure.
Okay, so we went on a tangent, but you made that decision. You had that epiphany, that door opening moment, and then you started taking the steps to quit your job. Quitting your job is a terrifying experience. And, you know, I know you mentioned that you have a nest egg, but, like, you know, you're not a wealthy person. Like, there was a lot of financial fear, I'm sure, that was involved in that.
Yeah, and there still is.
Yeah.
Because it's growing. It's not, I mean, I'm on the path. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. You're not Tony Robbins.
I'm not. I don't want to be Tony Robbins.
I don't want you to be Tony Robbins either. Tony Robbins scares me.
I just feel like
he's kind of a scary guy.
He works so much, and I don't want to work that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I don't want you to work that much either. But yeah, talk to me about the fear. Talk to me about.
I mean, I think that a lot of the fear, there was the real financial fear of, like, what is this going to look like? And let's think about bills and let's think about income and what that can look like. But then there was also the fear really of stepping into a new identity, I think, which, you know, for 20 years when I first became a teacher, I never knew that I would become somebody that other people would want to learn from. Like, I was just trying to get through the day without crying. Honestly. Yeah. Because it was so hard. I was working in a really tough neighborhood in Brooklyn, and I had no business being left alone with children, and I cried every day. And, you know, 20 years later, I had established myself as somebody who knew who knew some things that other people would pay to learn from. And that feels really good. Like that, my identity, my self-esteem, that was an area of my life that felt very solid. Like, I got a lot of positive feedback. And so when you decide that you're going to do something different, it's like you're leaping without a net. You know, if you feel very untethered. And I think it can be it was a very, very scary thing. And there was a lot of emotion around it, even though I knew. And I guess that's the thing that I'd had enough experience with, is kind of holding things simultaneously, holding emotions simultaneously of, oh my God, this is so scary. And I'm sad to kind of let this part of myself go. But then there's also this excitement. And so just kind of giving myself permission to like, just hold it all. Just hold it all. Hold the fear, but also hold the excitement, and recognize that the fear isn't going to be, the fear is there and we can say hello to it and acknowledge it.
But it doesn't have to control you.
It doesn't.
Run your life.
I don't need it to go away, because I don't know if that's realistic, but I can recognize that, but the fact that I had fear didn't mean I was making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing.
I think a lot of us, when we get held back by fear, we're always waiting for it to not be scary.
Right.
and it's like a new thing or a big change. It's never not going to be scary. We have to make friends with the fear. We have to find a way to be comfortable and say, okay, this is scary. I am going to do it even though that I am scared, because what is on the other side of fear may be greater than anything that I'm experiencing now. And it's worth pushing through that. And I think the more experience that we get with, sitting with our fear and not pushing it away or recoiling from it, the easier it gets to do these things.
Yes. And I mean, I think everybody that knows me knows that I have a very busy, active brain that can be kind of anxious sometimes. And something that somebody said to me one time is that if you're willing to consider the worst case scenario, which I'm very good at, and most people are, then you have to be willing to consider the best case scenario. Mm-hmm. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Then you also have to immediately say, well, what's the best thing that can happen? Yeah. Neither one has happened yet. So you might as well. Yeah,
you got to make room for both stories.
Yeah. And experience shows us that most of the time, the bad thing doesn't happen.
Yeah. No,
it's
somebody
just that's
that
what
I
we
work
hang on
with
to.
Always points that out to me when I come to, I'm afraid that X, Y, and Z. And they're like, okay, well, that's a story you're telling.
Yeah.
What's the other side of that story?
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited that X, Y, and Z could happen if I do this thing. Like, you have to learn to kind of see both sides of the coin and not only focus on the negative side, because fear is a very necessary tool. We're given that tool for a reason. It's meant to protect us and keep us out of harm's way. But when we focus only on the fear side, we can really hold back from some amazing things. And for me, most of the best things that I've ever experienced in life were on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
Something that I was really afraid to do, that I had to just push through.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think most people would say that if you ask them, but yeah, it stops us sometimes.
Yeah. Dead in our tracks.
Right.
So yeah, you started the job or you ended your job and started this new career. And
Jen Russell Coaching.
JenRussellCoaching.com. we'll plug that in the show notes for sure. But how has that been for you? I've watched you do what I'm getting ready to do, which seems extremely uncomfortable, which is putting yourself out there on social media, marketing yourself as a quote unquote brand, you know, and really putting your face on camera and talking to people. It's terrifying. It's not natural. Some people, I think, have no problem with it and they love it. But for me, it's, it's been a struggle. What's it been like for you?
I think that I kind of disassociate a little bit. That's helpful.
I'll write that down. Disassociate whenever possible.
Step 1, disassociate. Step 2, take drugs.
Yeah.
No, I think that I just somebody that I admire who's also been kind of who's on this path ahead of me with building their own business and their own brand, just gave me the very good advice of like, just don't overthink it. Like, just do it. Don't wait for the reel to be perfect. Don't wait for the message to be perfect. Just if you're inspired to create something and put it out there and don't overthink it. And that's kind of been my guide, is like, I don't want to be an influencer. That's really not what I want to do. I want to work one-on-one with clients and also do some group presentations and corporate wellness things. Like, I don't want to be a brand in that regard. I don't want to be an empire. Yeah. So really,
you just want to find the people. I just want to find the people that you can help.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, one of the best ways to do that is through social media these days. And that's so it's part of the downside of what this is. I mean, I don't even want there to be video in this podcast, but in today's day and age, it's who's going to find it if there aren't reels and it's not, out there for people to go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I really liked that little soundbite. Maybe I should listen to the episode, know? So it is a necessary evil, so to speak.
It's just a tool. I think of it as a tool. It's just a tool, and I try not to take it that seriously. And that helps, I guess. And I probably could be doing more. I could be working with somebody, on optimization. That's the second time I've used this word in the podcast. Yeah, optimize.
That's all right. I probably use the same word like 100 times.
Just edit it out. I hate it. But yeah, there's so much more I could be doing, but that's not where I want to put my energy. Yeah. That's not what I want to build. So I'm trying to just kind of take it a day at a time, a week at a time, and it'll probably evolve over time. Maybe I'll have more presence as we go. Maybe I'll have less presence because once the business feels like it's running the way I want it to run, I won't feel as compelled to do that. So yeah, just kind of trying not to overthink it too much.
I think that's a great strategy. Like, don't overthink it. Don't get in your head about it. Like, these things are so unimportant, really.
Yeah. Unless your goal is to be a health and wellness influencer. Yeah. Like, then, you're going to have to pay a lot of attention to that. That's not my goal. So I want my time to be spent in a way that's in alignment with my goals.
Yeah. Social media is a tool.
Social media is a tool.
Social media is such a tool. No, I like hearing everybody's perspective on it because I'm struggling with it a lot. I bring it up on the podcast regularly because I like getting other people's opinions on the social media aspect of things, and I've heard some really positive things, and I've heard some people that struggle with it also. Like, I think it's such a ever present part of our lives now. Yeah. And I know that everybody kind of wishes that it wasn't. I know. Collectively, but we also just can't quit it.
I know. It's like, I kind of wish it would go away, but also.
Yeah, but also I just want
I need to watch my stories.
I need to watch the stories, and I need to scroll the reels.
Yeah.
What else would we do when we poop?
I know, right? Read. Sit in silence with our thoughts.
Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you.
That sounds terrible.
Okay, I want to talk to you about some incredible stories that you have about how things came into your life. And I don't like to use the word manifesting because I'm not a firm believer in manifesting, but I am a believer in you have to really see and believe the thing is possible before it can ever really become possible.
Yes.
And you have a couple stories that are really mind-blowing, and I want you to try to, tell the condensed version because we don't have a ton of time.
Okay.
But at least tell the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire story.
Okay. Well, first, with regards to manifestation, I don't like the wellness. I feel like the health and wellness industry, the worst parts of that industry have co-opted it to where it's like it's something you have to do in a certain way, and if you don't get what you want, then you weren't manifesting correctly, and then you feel like shit about yourself. But really, manifesting is just telling your brain what to pay attention to, and telling it to pay attention to it over and over again. And so, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, this idea was born out of deep sickness and dysfunction. First of all, I had been living in New York and not succeeding at being a full-time actor for almost 10 years. Yeah. And I would say that my drinking and my mental health, my drinking was taking off, my mental health was tanking. I was working my restaurant job and just, I was not happy.
Things were going great.
Things were going great. And so rather than look at maybe some of the things in my life that I was doing to contribute to my unhappiness, my lack of movement in my life, drinking, I saw that there was a call for people to audition for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I had experience auditioning for and getting on game shows in college. I was on Remote Control, for those of you that are Gen X like me.
Yeah.
I got on Remote Control, the MTV game show, when I was in college at UT. Yeah. So I was like, I already know how to do this. And so I decided that my plan A for getting out of waiting tables and pushing my acting career forward and getting out of debt and making my life fabulous was going to be getting on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
So that, like, the equivalent of like, my only plan is I'm going to win the lottery.
Yes. That was it.
And you were super confident.
Oh, I was super confident
that this was going to happen.
Yeah. And so I showed up, the auditions were like right near Lincoln Center, and I went in and I took a general knowledge test, and I didn't pass that test. And they said, well, you can come back and you can be in the next round. And I said, I was such an idiot. I said, well, is it going to be the same test? And they said, no, dipshit. Why would it be the same test?
Because I can.
You think we're stupid?
Do better on those answers.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, of course, I was going to go try to figure out what the answers were to the test. But they said, no, you can come back and you can take a different test, and then we'll see. So I came back and I passed that test. And then they interviewed the people that passed the test to make sure that, okay, are you somebody that we actually want to put on camera? Or like, how crazy are you? Yeah. And apparently I passed, and they notified me a couple of weeks later that I was going to be a contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
So you just like your Hail Mary shot, just like in a weird movie of just like, all we got to do is win the contest, and then we could save the business.
Yeah. And I don't remember anybody. This is what's kind of funny too, is that I don't remember anybody else's opinion of what I was doing. Yeah. Like, I don't remember anybody weighing in like, that's a great idea. Or, are you sure you've thought this through? Like, I was so tunnel vision that like, this is it. And so I got on the show, and I brought my friend Eric, and because he was my friend and I guess not my partner, he was all ready to be like highlight spotlit. Yeah. And he was all dressed up, and they did not spotlight him. And he was very upset that they didn't introduce him. But I won $32,000.
That's so amazing.
And they said, okay, now if we find out that you've told anybody how much you won before the air date, you will not get your $32,000. I got the $32,000, and I did all the things that I said I was going to do. Like, I paid off my debt. I invested in more acting classes. I got new headshots. I downsized how much I was working at the restaurant. But also, I don't know, interestingly, my drinking took off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was like all the excuses that I had used to kind of bolster my drinking. Like, you would drink too if you had to work in this restaurant. And if you had all this credit card debt and couldn't live your dream. And then all those excuses fell away and I was just left with myself and what was actually happening. And that I can honestly say that when people say, well, what was the catalyst for your bottom? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
If you have any questions about whether getting on a game show will help you drink less, I've already done the research and the answer is no, it will not.
No, but
it's the best thing that happened to me.
I love that story so much. And there were some other things. You won some like a trip to Paris and like
to London to meet Erasure.
Yeah, to meet Erasure and go to a concert. And you were sure that you were going to do it.
Oh yeah, I had moved to London right after college for almost a year, and I had worked at the Hard Rock Cafe and I had studied acting and had an amazing time. And I got back and I was missing my friends. And I heard about this contest to be a courier for the new Erasure CD. Like, you're going to fly to London, you and a friend will fly to London and meet Erasure, have dinner with them, and bring their CD back, and then you'll be on the radio station and you'll talk to us about it. And I told my mom, I'm going to win that contest. And
she was like, sure,
this is not
something that's
you need to be focusing on your next move professionally. Like, you can't keep living at our house as a post-college graduate. And it was a call-in contest. I called in, and then a couple of weeks later, my mom woke me up and she said, "There's a Psycho Robbie on the phone." He was one of the DJs.
Hello, there's a Psycho Robbie.
I was like, "Psycho Robbie's on the phone," and he said, "You're in the top 5. Do you have a passport?" I was like, "Psycho Robbie? Fucking A, I got a passport." And they called me back 5 minutes later live on the radio and said, "You are the winner. You're going to London."
Incredible.
My mom was so mad.
I love these stories so much because I do really believe that when we're younger, it's so much easier to believe that anything is possible than when we're older. And it takes that belief. Like, you can't win that radio contest unless you believe that you have a chance at winning, right? You can't be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire unless you really believe that there's a chance to be on Who Wants a Millionaire. Yeah. Just like you can't start a new business, or you can't, reach your fitness goals or whatever unless you really can believe that it's doable.
Yeah, I do agree that there's something about being young and not having had the experience of having your dreams crushed.
You haven't been ground.
But I don't feel like it ends as you get older. I think as long as you stay, I really think it's just about maintaining a curiosity and being able to envision, like being able to still be curious and dream. Yeah. And I think that it can get harder to do that as you get older, but it doesn't have to. I think you just have to you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely gets harder whether we want it to or not.
Yeah.
Like, it just is. The older we get, the more we have to lose. The more the risks feel bigger. The rewards feel bigger.
Mm-hmm. And you may have had some experiences that feel like they've just pulled the rug out from under you, where it makes it harder to dream. Yeah,
you've had some tangible failures probably at some point that has made it difficult to visualize the successes, a different way, or the different paths. Yeah. So, but I think it's important for me to remember that if I see it, if I can see it and I can picture it, like, I know that it's possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have to have that belief, because in a lot of cases, just like in yours, like, a lot of people probably won't believe that you can do something when you believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, that maybe they'll never tell you that you maybe shouldn't quit your day job and start your own coaching business, or maybe you shouldn't, start a podcast, or maybe you shouldn't take those acting classes. Like, it's a waste of time. If you see it and you believe it and it feels like something that you need to do, like, that is the main thing. It's like, you have to believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
You can't wait for other people to believe it's possible for you.
Absolutely. And I think you don't even necessarily have to have a clear picture of what the outcome is. Like, just don't don't not do the thing. You know, if you feel compelled to take the acting class, take the acting class. It doesn't matter if you want to get paid or not. You know, just take the action.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to unfold.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, like just taking the acting class can open these other doors that lead to another thing that isn't acting, but it never would have started the dominoes of falling if you hadn't started that one thing. And so, yeah, a big thing that I'm trying to, like an energy that I'm trying to put in the world, and one of my hopes for this podcast is when we talk about what we really care about, right? And inspiring people to go after those things and to look at their lives and see what's missing and acknowledge, just like me, the little kid that always wanted to scuba, like what part of yourself are you not watering that you've always wanted to water? I want to do anything that I can in this life to try to inspire or help or push people to water that part of themselves and learn and talk to other people that have gone on those journeys, so that so that less people are stuck.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good goal.
It's a good goal.
It's a good goal. I approve.
Man, these have been some really good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take us to our closing questions.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So I love messy moments. I love to ask guests like about a messy moment in their life that looking back now, like made a lot more sense, or it was a catalyst to something. And like, yeah, tell me about a messy moment in your life.
I mean, I think that I have to revisit the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
That was messiness personified.
Yeah.
That moment, getting everything I wanted led to the downfall. And it was exactly what I needed. And what that looked like with me doing all the things that were positive and then simultaneously drinking to the point of, you know, making myself sick. It really was the catalyst for me saying goodbye to alcohol, giving it up and starting on a new path. And I don't think it would have happened without that. I think I would have just kind of skidded along the bottom and been miserable for a long, long time. But getting everything I wanted, all the things I thought would make me happy, and then experiencing the decline even after that, it was looking back, nope, this is exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, I think so many people are obsessed with the idea of if I just get what I want, then everything's going to be great. And life doesn't work that way. And there's so many tales of people getting everything that they want and being absolutely miserable on the other side of it. Or it just opening up a whole world of problems. And, you know, it really leads to, like, if we don't take care of the core fundamentals of ourselves, it doesn't matter how much we have. It doesn't matter how much success we have, or how many people like us, how much money. We can still be really miserable. Yeah. And so learning to find happiness where you are right now with everything that you have and nothing more is crucial. Because, getting it all doesn't fix anything.
Doesn't. It's not that it's not good. I mean, I don't want to place a value judgment on things, but if you're not really looking at the thing that's supposed to be looked at, then all those external things are just, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. And that's what that moment allowed me to do, is to really be able to get clear on, oh, this is actually not, none of these things were the problem. And I thought they were the problem.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So we talk on this podcast about what we really care about, but we also are uncovering what we need and want to care less about? Mm-hmm. What is something that you used to care way too much about that now you couldn't care about at all?
This is one. So I used, when in my 20s and 30s, and okay, let me back up and just let me preface this by saying, when it comes to relationships and intimacy, I'm a lifelong learner and a work in progress.
Amen, sister.
And I will say that in my youth, my 20s and 30s, I used to care a lot about being chosen. Like in the sense that my value, my worth was very much tied to whether I was chosen by whether it was professionally or by a person. And it was not, it was such a painful way to live. And I can say that now in my 50s, through a lot of work and a lot of experience, I don't care about that anymore. Like it's not that there's not disappointment with rejection if you don't get the job or the relationship doesn't work out, but my worth isn't tied up in it. Like that's not in the same sentence anymore as it used to be. Because I think in the past, it used to be where when something didn't work out, my default was, you see, I am a piece of shit. It was like confirming a belief that I already had about myself. And it's almost like these I was looking for these relationships to confer I was taking these moments and using them as evidence for a deeply held belief that I already had.
Yeah.
And now that's not the case. Like through working on myself, through choosing myself over and over again and not waiting for the person or the job or, I really feel such freedom in that I have developed this really solid core of, my worth is not negotiable.
Yeah,
it's not tied to this other stuff. It's not that I'm a robot and I don't have emotions about it, but it doesn't have the same value as it did. And as a result, there's so much freedom. And I think my interactions with people romantically, professionally, and friendships are a lot more free and pure because I don't need that from them.
Yeah, because you've already chosen yourself.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter if they choose you.
Right.
It can sting or it can be disappointing or whatever, but your well-being isn't centered on being chosen.
Nope. And that is a really nice place to be.
I love that. Congrats for being there.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Hit me with a hot take or an unpopular opinion.
Oh, a hot take. I don't know if it's unpopular, but I think embracing mediocrity in most areas of your life is actually a really good strategy.
Oh, yeah.
That's my hot take. And I think we've talked, I'm going to say optimize again. Damn it.
Optimize.
I blame influencer culture. I think we've gotten so fixated on being the best and all of that. And I think people have decided that the goal is perfection, and it's not that. Like we have limited time, energy, and resources, and you're not going to be good at everything. You're just not. Mm-hmm. So don't try to be good at it. Like figure out what it is you that's really important to you, like what your priorities are, and put your time and your energy there. But then let the other bullshit fall away.
Yeah.
That's, I think mediocrity
is a really great place.
It is.
I really love this. And I wasn't expecting that answer from you at all.
Huh.
Yeah, I think for me, it's something that I've worked on over the years for sure. Is like, I'm used to really low lows and really high highs, and that feels comfortable. But I've learned that the most comfortable place is in the middle,
Right.
And
what's something, so I'll give you an example of something that I have gotten comfortably where I feel like my mediocrity, I'm super comfortable with it. And then if you can think of something, so I am super comfortable being a mediocre chef. And I'm a coach. Like I'm supposed to talk to people about nutrition, but I eat well, but I eat very simple, clean food. I don't like to say that I cook. I say that I sort of assemble things, and it's fine. I enjoy it. I don't need to get better at it. Yeah. I'm not striving to be better in that capacity, and I'm totally okay with that.
For me, I have become very okay at not being cool enough to go to the concert or to the club or to go dancing.
The club, yeah.
Whereas like every part, the people pleaser part of me and the part that like wants to seem cool, and like it seems like every girl on dating apps when I am dating, which I'm not, but they're like, I love live music. I want to go to shows. And I'm just like, I don't want to go to any shows. If you like going to shows all the time, I don't want to go to any shows. I worked in the music business. I've been to more concerts than anyone I will ever meet. And I don't want to go to them. I don't either. They're late. They're loud. I don't want to stand. I don't want to be around a bunch of people wooing and high. Like, I'm very comfortable being the boring guy that is like.
I'm the same. That's why I like movies. Yeah. Because the question I always ask when people ask me, and people have stopped really asking me to go see live music shows because they know my questions are going to be, will I be able to sit down?
Yeah.
And will there be snacks?
Well, no, I've just found in general, like, I like going to the movies, but if I can't have a conversation while we're doing whatever it is that we're doing, I'm not really that interested.
Really?
I like talking to people.
But you like diving.
Yeah.
And that's,
but that's like, that's an hour.
But that's what for social, but
like
for
we
social
can talk
activities.
On the boat and we can talk, like, I don't know. Like
it still feels social.
Yeah, social activities for me.
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to be in a loud place.
Yeah.
Any loud place, a bar or crowded or whatever, where we can't be having conversations. Because like one of the reasons I started this podcast is because I like just having conversations with people, real conversations. And so
I'm much more one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's
or
where it's at for me. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I am totally okay with being the boring guy that doesn't like to go to concerts and doesn't like to go out dancing.
Cool.
It does happen and it will happen from time to time. But it's rare. And I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm totally fine not being cool.
Yeah. Good, because you're not.
And I never have been.
Oh, Jen, thank you so much for coming and talking to me and doing this.
Thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Yeah, this has been really good. Tell people where they can find you again.
JenRussellCoaching.com. Email me, jen@jenrussellcoaching.com.
And you're on socials?
On socials, at Jen Russell Coaching, Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. We'll leave that stuff in the show notes. If you're still listening, thanks for listening to Who Cares? I'm really glad that you're here. If this episode resonated with you or somebody that you know might need to hear it, please send it their way. And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you have a second, leave us a review. It really helps. And you can find us on all the socials at Who the Pod Cares, or you can head to whothepodcares.com to check out more and drop us a note. We have a new series called Hot Takes and Helplines. So we are giving unsolicited advice to your life problems, and we want to hear your hot takes and give our opinions on them. We'll be doing those on the show with our guests in the future. So go leave your stuff at whothepodcares.com. We're building this thing together, and I'm so glad that you are a part of it. Thank you, Jen, for being a part of it.
Thanks, Taylor.
That's all we got. We'll see you next time.